Today we take a look at a premium compact folder that has some super unique styling and that I have a lot of fun carrying, but there's a catch. Well, today we're taking a look at this pint-size heavy hitter in the Summit Knife Company Half Dome folder. So it's named after Half Dome in Yosemite, and kind of has, to me, kind of has a feel for that just in its lines, the heavy drop there into a semi-precise tip that we'll be looking at today. We're gonna do all of our regular carry, EDC stuff. And you know, this is a smaller knife for me. It's smaller than what I would normally carry. But when I saw this actually drop on Blade HQ, I was really interested in it. I actually put it in my cart of like, wow, I haven't reviewed a knife quite like that. And it kind of connects with me in this kind of futuristic, but like odd way. Just like I'm interested in it. And literally like 2 weeks later, they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to test this knife out? And I said, sure, let's take a look at it. So I'm looking forward today to showing you guys all the stuff that's pretty cool about it, and some of the things that are a little bit of a catch that you'll have to weigh when you're looking at the Half Dome on whether or not it's a good little EDC pocket knife to carry with you. So with that, folks, let's go ahead and get to it, break the knife down, see what it has to offer. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to it and take a look here at this blade first right out of the gate. I mean, that's gonna be a defining factor of the knife. Now, the Summit, obviously, that logo, the name, the idea, the name of the Half Dome. I mean, the climbing and rock climbing and mountaineering is kind of part of the DNA of this company. That's something that, from everything I'm seeing and understand, many of the founders and founders do. And so they wanted to create a knife that would be functional and help them in that, as well as be able to carry in EDC format. So kind of a double duty blade there. And so that's what we see with this shape here at the tip. What we see is kind of almost like a safety knife, definitely blunted off, but still giving you a little bit of precision there. So what that means is you could kind of use it as a first responder knife. You know, you're being suspended up in the air, rock climbing or something, you had to cut something real quick. That this is gonna not necessarily pierce either yourself, skin, clothing that maybe you don't want to without really putting a little bit of extra pressure. Just to kind of give you a little idea here. Here's my Manix 2 lightweight. I mean, that blade, you look at it and it wants to stab stuff and pierce things. That's not the case with the Summit. It can still pierce because of the angle that they decided to go with. It's not just completely, you know, snub-nosed off, but you have to put more pressure on it before you would penetrate a piece of plastic, a package, something like that. That would also help, you know, with small game or food processing as well. Even the way the knife is designed, I can kind of put my finger up here, guide the tip a little bit, and I could do some maybe like fish or small game I could easily do with this knife, but it doesn't completely eliminate the everyday carry capability of being able to pierce the packaging and things like that. So kind of a double duty thing there. Now this is made out of M390 steel in Italy by Fox Knives, so very good quality control, very high-end company. They know what they're doing, so the quality is absolutely there. We have a very high flat grind, almost a full flat, just kind of transitions right there near the eye hole and near the very top portion. Now the blade height is a pretty wide blade at 1.125 inches from edge to spine. It does have a 90-degree spine. You could throw some sparks with that if you had to, so that's a nice little bonus there. It is going to be from handle to tip 2.375, so it's a compact little blade. And then the thickness, it's a stout little guy too. Back here near the jimping, it's going to be 0.14, so just a hair over an eighth, and it's going to kind of keep that pretty consistent all the way down to that transition right there. So that is something to note, that it's pretty stout, but because of the grinding and the very high, almost full flat grind, you still get a lot of slicing capability for being a little stout, beefy blade. So an everyday carry performance task, regardless if I did cut seat belt, cordage of all kinds, or cardboard and the things I've been rolling in here, it's a good performer. Is it mind-blowing? Is it even, you know, like a Delica 4? I'll just roll that in here as a competitive, because the edge the edge lengths are pretty close. No, I mean, the Delica is thinner. It has a higher full flat grind, so I mean, it's gonna slice like a razor blade. The Half Dome can absolutely cut and slice, and it will do the job, and it will do it in a very stout, strong, very long edge retention type of way, but it's not a razor blade like some other compact folders in this design. Just to give you some perspective there, So the benefit being that it's going to be a lot stouter, less likely to snap and break, particularly on the tip if you are having to do some prying or you're just looking for strength. Downside being that because it is a little thicker and beefier, not quite the slicer that some other really lightweight, slim blades can be. Next up, we're going to hit deployment. You do have that angled, triangular kind of thumb hole that I can easily open up. It does ride on bronze bushings, not ball bearings or anything like that. I prefer, for the kind of idea of an outdoor knife, I prefer bronze over ball bearings. Ball bearings can get grit and gunk in them, and then they're harder to clean. This makes it easier to clean if necessary. Still a good flick. I can get it open without flicking my wrist. It can be done. You got a little tricky. Got to get a good grip on it, but you can't do that. A lot of times I'll use my middle finger right here, and I'll kind of open it up and then use my thumb to do the other half of that. So it is nice and smooth. Good. But every once in a while that'll happen and I got to kind of wrist flick it. Just the way the handle and the compact size is in your hand, it's not going to be some fidget blade that you're just like, oh yeah, let me boom, 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 you know, playing all day with. Now the nice thing is the way that they've designed this, I can open this rather easily with gloves as well. So again, good for outdoor stuff, which is a positive. Now the lockup here on this titanium frame lock, so you can see there, really nice and solid. There's no wobble left, right, up, down. Super locked in, really good, really happy with that. Hits about 40% of the blade right there. It does have, let's see if I can show you, a stainless steel insert that also acts as an over travel stop. That's all very good. They've done a really good job with that. That's what those two screws are. They're holding in, and you can kind of see through the spacer right there, the over travel stop, so it won't over travel the frame by mistake, which is a good thing. And then easily closes. Good centering right there, hasn't floated left or right. And I've had this now for I think 2 months, and so I've had a lot of time to play with it, not only in the outdoors but just EDCing it on a pretty consistent basis to really get a good feel for it. Is this something that I would carry as just kind of like a cool fun knife EDC? Would I take it out hiking and camping, you know, that type of thing? And where does it kind of fit in that format? So the lockup is solid, the deployment is good on those bronze bushings, good centering, good quality in all those respects, and really good detent, which is a really nice feature because it's so compact. You could put it inside a pocket or something like that, so this thing is not accidentally going to come out. You got to overcome the detent ball, and then you have to give it a little bit of pressure to get through that. So that's really good. I can't even flick it open like that. So that's a good little positive that you could throw this and not really worry about the detent being overcome and accidentally opening in your pocket if you weren't using the pocket clip for some reason. That will bring us to the pocket clip itself. One of my favorites of all time, first seen on a Spyderco. That wired loop over design, fantastic. So it's a good low ride in the pocket, doesn't create any hot spots, really nicely done. It is ambidextrous if you get the micarta versions. Now they do have full titanium handle versions that will have a different style, a little more unique pocket clip, but that's for righties only. So if you're ambidextrous and you're a lefty, you need to go with the micarta versions because that will be able to swap the pocket clip. You cannot do that with the full titanium version, and the pocket clip will be slightly different. So this one, again, stands off well, rides very nicely. Good large lanyard hole right there for 550 paracord. Again, if you maybe wanted to take the pocket clip off and carry it in a pocket somewhere, a breast pocket, maybe if you're climbing. I'm not a mountain climber, so I wouldn't know, you know, in that regard, but that is something just to consider with that. Okay, next up to the handle itself. I mean, this is a super unique aspect. This is just a really unique blade, and that's what we're going to get to here in just a moment after I hit the handle with you. Now, this is like a green canvas micarta. They do have black linen micarta, and then, as I said, titanium. Now, the micartas will be a little bit cheaper. That we'll talk about price here in just a moment. The titanium will be more expensive. The titanium will be also slightly heavier. This thing comes in at 2.43 ounces, which is great. So a nice lightweight, well under the 3 ounce area, so you're not even gonna know it's on your person. So if you're into counting all your ounces, they actually do a really good job with that. And then what you're looking at is a handle thickness of 0.42 on the handle thickness there with standoffs. Really well done there. I like that. And then the titanium on the other side. And the handle itself from front to back is going to be 3.625 inches overall length. So the way that this is designed is basically like a 3-fingered and a rest grip. So what that means is my index finger rests right here. They got some jimping right there on that flat portion. My 2 fingers in the middle there are going to cup in. And then my pinky is going to rest kind of back here on the back side. So my pinky is always kind of resting right there. Then my thumb rests very nicely on that mild jimping. It's not aggressive, which I really appreciate. It's not aggressive down here either. And then fits nicely. Now all the transitions are done really well. There's no sharp angles at all on the handle, so that's a really good thing. There's nothing sharp or abrasive in that regard, but it's a very unique design. So right out of the gate, you have to decide, are you cool with 3-fingered grips? A lot of knives that are really compact do have that feature. I'm thinking of some of the Spydercos that are out there that are under, you know, the 2.5-inch blade length basically. That you basically grip with 3 fingers. So this one kind of gives you that rest where it just naturally fits right there, so you have total control over the knife, and it almost acts kind of as a stop. I never feel like I want to slide up and cut my finger. Now it is very unique. It is not for everybody. In a reverse grip, it would fit very nicely as well. I never felt out of control when I was, you know, stabbing, doing things like that. I feel like I have a good grip and good control over it, better than many other 3-fingered knives that I've reviewed here in the past that do feel like your pinky is just floating around out there. At least this gives you a good rest. And I got, as I have told you guys many times before, large size hands. Now, the trick would be that it actually, I was surprised, and you even can hear that in some of the footage, when I was bearing down on pieces of wood, carving and whittling, where you're gonna discover hot spots if there are any in a knife. I was like, wow, this is actually not creating any pain. This isn't really creating any issues in the ergonomic arena, which was really surprising to me, because even some of you online, you know, I pay attention to what you guys say online. I would post photos and you guys are like, man, that handle is either gonna be horrendous or really comfortable or, you know, unique. That I did not find any hot spots, and that is a true statement. I was looking for hot spots, trying to find problems with this knife in the ergonomic world, and I could not do it. So that was really surprising to me. I was like, wow, I actually could hold this basically all day, and I feel in control. I don't feel like don't have any loose grip because it's got a pretty wide profile, so it fills out the hand nicely. But a wider profile, just to show you here, than my Delica 4 by a lot. So I mean, it's going to fill out that hand a lot more even than a Delica, but again, your pinky will just be resting. It won't feel like it's actually like on the knife. It'll just be resting on the pommel area. So it's unique. It gets the job done without creating any hot spots, which is super surprising and unexpected for the design. So that brings us kind of to the final thought, and as we talk about price and concept and all that, is that the half dome, and this is the catch, is that this half dome, all the quality is there, the surprising ergonomics are there for the way it looks. It looks uncomfortable, but it actually performs well. The blade shape, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna carve well. Out in the woods, it did a good job. You know, all those things. So it's a surprising performer for its lines and for its looks. The catch is that this really, to me, is a want knife, not necessarily a need knife. Because at $175 for the micarta versions and $225 for the full titanium versions, you're paying a pretty penny for a very compact, very unique blade. And when we look at other full-size blades, very similar materials, Italian-made M390 and the Tasso from Steel Will, G10 handles. Over here I have G10 and M390 as well on the Mini Gecko. This guy's gonna be about 180. This guy's gonna be, I believe, around 200 for the M390 version. So, I mean, it's competitive for materials, but we have full-size knives there that we're looking at that, to be honest with you, you're just gonna be able to do more. I mean, let's get real here for a second. When we talk about need, and you're maybe throwing down enough money for one knife this year, this one has a much larger blade profile, longer edge, fuller handle that's going to give you a big beefy grip, and just going to give you more capability than this little compact half dome here. Now the half dome still has a lot of potential, but it's something that's like, ooh, I might want that, but I don't necessarily need it. And that's the catch, is that if you have discretionary income and you're a knife lover, I think that the half dome would be a super cool, unique, out of the box blade that can actually do a lot of stuff. It's fun. Like, I like throwing it in my pocket. It's very unique for the collection that I have. And still, I can open my packaging if I'm around the office, regardless of if it's meal packaging for my lunch, regardless if it's letters or notes or, you know, packaging that I have, you know, around the home. I can do all that. I can carve, I can whittle if I needed to, all those things. But it's something that I'm not going to, that would be extra. It would be an extra knife that I would get after I got the more natural lines, more organic, fuller size, let's say steel wheel gecko. Again, that full handle, full big blade, more natural lines that I would know I have this, and you know what? Now I want something different, unique, because I have some discretionary income. Then sweet. Then I'm gonna get this half dome. That's the catch, I believe, with this knife. When you're looking at other knives that are bigger for very similar prices, it's hard to go, I'm gonna pick that over the other more general knife, the more need knife than the want knife, if that makes sense. So I hope that is helping you guys out. I think that it has a very cool profile, and at this day and age where I'm at, again, I'm a person that does have discretionary income for knives. I'm a knife reviewer, and at this point, I've tested and reviewed probably 400 knives, 300 pocket knives for sure, and several hundred knives, guys. A knife has to stand out for me to want to even try it out and to give it screen time. I mean, if it's just another generic run-of-the-mill blade, I'm like, whatever. I've seen hundreds of them at this point. So have you if you follow this channel. So it's cool that I'm like, oh, this is unique, this is different, and it actually is pretty good. So that's awesome. But for a lot of you, it's gonna be that extra knife. You're getting the gecko, and hey, I got some extra money and I wanna try something out a little unique and crazy that might actually be kind of cool and good. Boom. Then you're gonna be getting the half dome. So I hope that this video kind of helps you out determine all that. Again, we're gonna have links for you guys below over to Blade HQ. That's where you can pick this up. I appreciate it when you guys use the hyperlinks that we offer to you, also to Amazon, GP Knives, Knockaround Sunglass Company, Backcountry, Mystery Ranch, all that stuff. We just appreciate it when you guys use all those hyperlinks. And as I said, the company reached out to me. I was going to eventually get my hands on this. They just happened to jump the gun basically and reached out to me. I didn't know that they knew who I was, and you know, we happen to be able to do this video for you, giving you all of the feedback, all of the sides and angles and concepts to the knife to help you make that wise choice. Is this the blade that you've been looking for, that you're like, dude, I got to get my hands on this? Or is it like, yep, I got the info that I needed and I need to go with another blade? That's what we always want to do here. But I am excited to see new companies coming onto the market. I think I saw something at Blade Show that they have some ideas coming for next year in Summit Knife Company. So hopefully this won't be the last knife we see from them. And I'm really excited to see what else they produce in different designs, shapes, sizes, and capabilities, because I think the materials and ideas and concepts are definitely there. I'm just excited to see what they come up with next. And they do absolutely have a very unique blade that for certain people will really connect with you, and you'll get a lot of cool, unique factor. When you pull that thing out, people are like, whoa, let me try that out. That's what this knife is going to offer, and it's actually going to be like, whoa, that actually did the work that I wanted it to, and I'm really happy with that. So that's where I sit with this half dome. I hope this video has been entertaining, fun, and informative, helped you guys out. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media. Love to hear your guys' thoughts, particularly on this blade. What do you think? Questions that you may have. Is this something that you would go with? Is this exactly what you're looking for? You're looking for stuff elsewhere? Love to hear your guys' feedback and have that conversation in those comments below. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. Become part of the GT family. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.